Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition. Here are the headlines. ICTS. In response to the outbreak of cases, South Africa is re-establishing the curfew. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. Following a decision signed by the President of the Republic, the National Order's Grand Stars of the Great Star of Djibouti, Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed, during a ceremony held this morning at the People's Palace, decorated in the presence of his Secretary General, Naguib Abdullah Mohammed, and the Commander of the Republican Guard, Colonel Mohammed Jama Ali. 11 personalities from protocol, the audiovisual press technician, and the People's Palace, and of officers of our Regalian forces. Thus, the officer of the Republican Guard, Commander Ismail Ibrahim Barre and Hussein El Roble, as well as the Deputy Technical Director of the RTD, Abdurrahman Mohammed Yahya, were elevated to the rank of officer in the National Order of 27th June. During the same ceremony, Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed also awarded the Medal of Knife in the National Order of 27 June to Captain Abdullah El Aden, Musa Jibril Yusuf, Abdurrahman Jalal Abdurrahman, Reye Umar Ali, Osman Umar Maeke, Abu Bakr Mohammed Haloita, Umar Saeed Bile, and Mohammed Umar Adur, and Hussein Umar Migak. The event is part of the 43rd anniversary of our country's independence. At the end of the ceremony, Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed said that other personalities from the Gendarmerie, the National Police, the Jewish Armed Forces, the Coast Guard, the Penitentiary Guards, the written press, and those from social networks will in turn be decorated soon. Now, the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohammed Ali Ahmed, received this morning in his capacity as President of the African Parliamentary Union a delegation of the plural civil society of the COMESA, led by its President, Mrs. Boka. The main objective of this meeting was first of all to thank the head of the hemicycle for his constant support to this civil society. Indeed, in addition to his support, PAN agreed the sponsor to the economic meeting forum to be held in our capital on 20 September. The meeting was attended by the Director of the President Cabinet and the Deputy Omar Aden Said, who is also Honorary President of the RNDS network. In addition, it is important to emphasize that in recent years, parliamentarians have been working closely with this organization, which tends to create focal points in all COMESA countries as part of their prerogative. Let us recall that the project of this solidarity will finance as priority the construction of a future center for people with mental disorders. Mrs. Book also made a point of handing over to the President of the National Assembly the African Guide for Sustainable Development of Civil Society, in which the various projects undertaken are listed. At the end of the meeting, reiterating his support and encouragement to the President of the National Assembly, presented a gift to Mrs. Boka, President of the COMESA's Plural Civil Society, for the long-standing action she has been carrying out for 25 years for the benefits of Jewish civil society. Now, in the Foreign Affairs, the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Assembly this morning, under the chairmanship of the Honorable Abdurrahman Awali Yassir, considered the following provision with a view to endorsing them. First, draft law number 91 AN 2080th, the right to ratify the concessional financing agreement relating to additional financing for the development response to the impact of displacement in the Horn of Africa project. And number two, draft law number 2 AN 2080th to ratify the concessional financing agreement relating to the project to the elaboration of economic policy and management development of statistics. Number 3, the government was represented by the Minister of Economy and Finance responsible for industry, Ilyas Musa Tawali, who was assisted by senior officials of the ministry as well as the governing body of the Djibouti Social Development Agency, ADDS. After debate between the parliamentarians and their guests, the Foreign Affairs Committee, transmitting the text to a public session, voted in favor of ratification. Still, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation government spokesman Mohammed Ali Yusuf today held a ceremony with Japanese Ambassador Koji Yonetani to sign an exchange of notes and the agreement of a donation of medical equipment to the Minister of Health. The signing ceremony was attended by the Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsamadiri, and other officials of the department. The purpose of this meeting is part of a project to strengthen public health, financing by a donation of 833 million Djibouti franc. On behalf of the government of Djibouti, the Minister of Health expressed his gratitude to the government of Japan, stressing that Japan, as a sister country, has always and constantly taken a special interest in Djibouti, accompanying it on its path to the development and thus reflecting the excellence and close collaboration between the two countries and the two peoples. Japan's Ambassador Koji Yonetani recalled his country's unwavering political commitment to continue to support Djibouti in the achievement of its development at the level of health, and Japan remains a privileged partner of the Republic of Djibouti. The Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsamadiri, thanked the government of Japan on behalf of the government of Djibouti for this aid, which comes at an opportune time given the exceptional situation due to the global fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The head of diplomacy, Mohammed Ali Yusuf, reaffirmed the willingness. Mohammed Ali Yusuf, the head of Djiboutian diplomacy, reaffirmed the willingness of the Republic of Djibouti to continue this mutual beneficial cooperation between the two countries. Now, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, and his colleague in charge of post and telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdan, today officially launched the REATIC strategic plan of the People's Palace. Several members of the government, including the Ministry of Labor, National Solidarity and Higher Education, respectively, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, Mrs. Mona Usman Aden, and Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, as well as senior officials of the public administration civil society figures, took part in the ceremony. Then the Minister of Communication and his colleague of National Education and Vocational Training opened the ball of official intervention. Both stressed the interest and scope of this project dear to the President of the Republic, who has outlined the main lines of this project as early as 2014, when the One Child One Tablet program will be launched. For Radwan Abdullahi Bahdan, Manfob's REATIC strategy plan is one of the many projects underway to make the ICT ecosystem a lever for growth in other socio-economic sectors in improving the well-being of people. REATIC is the ideal means to promote equity, improve quality, and advance education reform. Talks to our various infrastructures, the MCPT has the firm intention to make effective contribution alongside Manfob for the implementation of this new technology in order to generalize together the use of ICTs. At the end of the official meeting, the brief on the brief on a strategy, means, and expectation, as well as the sectoral action plan of REATIC projects. Then the Minister of Communication and his colleague for National Education and Vocational Training opened the floor for official intervention. Both stressed the interest and scope of this project dear to the President of the Republic. For Radwan Abdullahi Bahdan, the strategic plan REATIC of Manfob is part of the many projects underway to make the ICT ecosystem a lever for growth in other socioeconomic sectors and improving the welfare of people. Both ministers, Mrs. Umuna Usman Adan and Mr. Isman Ibrahim Robles, stressed the interest and importance of this strategic project. They recalled the shared benefit of the new information and communication technologies. Now, Minister of Education, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, for his part, we affirmed how ICTs have become since the mid 1990s as necessary and used means of civilization in full expansion. Now, the General Secretary of Health Minister, Dr. Salah Bonita Trab, gave us the daily press briefing today. The data of COVID-19 epidemic is as follows. 830 tests were performed, 5 positive cases of COVID-19, 17 cases cured, and 0 death. And as for the global balance sheet, declines as follows. 51,543 tests were performed, 4,977 positive to COVID-19, 4,729 cases were confirmed cured, 56 deaths unfortunately in total. Please stay alert to protect yourself and protect the others. And now another subject in the health minister Mohammed Warsamadri visited the future passenger control center at the Djibouti airport. Accompanied by his colleague of equipment and transport, Musa Mohammed Ahmed, the Minister of Health has indeed inspected the various mechanisms put in place for epidemiological surveillance at the departure and arrival of a passenger in our country. The visit of the premises took place in the presence of several personalities, including the Director General of the Police, Mr. Abdullah Abdi, the Director of the Military Hospital, Dr. Madian Mohammed Saeed, and senior officials of the Ministry of Health. At the end of this visit, the Minister of Health said he was satisfied with the circuit consisting of a large room that can accommodate more than 400 people, a sampling room, and a laboratory. The minister said that all these devices meet all the requirements set out in the Presidential Decree of July 12, including compliance with barrier measures such as the mandatory wearing of masks and all stage. And this morning, the National Agency for the Disabled and the Green Generation Association organized a ceremony to hand over COVID-19 protection kits for the disabled persons. It is an initiative of the association Green Generation, which will leave 2,000 handicapped people to protect themselves effectively against the pandemic of COVID-19 and to engage them in the promotion of barrier justice. The donation consists of 2,000 masks, 250 pieces of hydroalcoholic gel, and protection kits produced by one of the project leaders. This kit handing over ceremony was attended by the director of the ANPH, Mr. Duali Saeed Mahmoud, the representative of UNICEF, Mrs. Melva Johnson, the director of CLE, Obah Malo, the representative of the Association of Green Generation, Mahad Abdurrahman, and the representative of the UNDP Djibouti, Fatima El Sheikh. For his part, the Director General, Mr. Duali Mahmoud, thanks the Association Green Generation this donation to the network of disabled persons and welcomes any other initiative of this kind. The ceremony ended with the reception of the donation of the AGG protection kits in the meeting room of the NPH. Moving on to the international news, South Africa reimposed a national curfew on Sunday, 12 July, in response to an upsurge in coronavirus cases. President Cyril Ramaphosa decided to Sunday to reimpose a curfew in South Africa because of the increase in daily cases of contamination. He noted that an average of 12,000 new cases had been recorded every day in recent weeks. For Monday, the curfew will be enforced again in South Africa from 21:00 and 04:00 local time. The family visits will be banned. Mr. Ramaphosa has also decided to suspend the sale of alcohol again. As we head towards the peak of infection, it is vital that we do not overburden our clinical and hospitals with prevention alcohol-related injuries, the president said on television. Restriction imposed in March in an attempt to curb the epidemic in the worst affected country in Africa were partially lifted in May. This is it for this news. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful night.